You are not human. You're God pretending to be you. Thoth's truth. What if I told you that everything you believe about yourself is a lie? Not a malicious lie, not a deception meant to harm you, but a necessary forgetting. A forgetting that allowed you to play the most convincing game in the universe, the most immersive role ever written, the most elaborate disguise ever crafted. What if I told you that you are not your name, not your body, not your history, not your successes or failures, not the voice in your head that comments on everything you do, not the fears that keep you awake at night, not the dreams that have gone unfulfilled, not the wounds you've been carrying since childhood? What if I told you that the being reading these words right now, the one who feels like a separate self looking out through two eyes, the one who has a story and a past and a future, what if I told you that being is not human? I can feel you resisting. Something in you wants to reject this. It sounds like arrogance, like delusion, like spiritual bypass dressed up in fancy language, like the kind of thing people say when they've read too many books and lost touch with the ground beneath their feet. I'm not God, you say to yourself. I can barely pay my bills. I get angry at my family. I make mistakes. I feel small, scared, lost, confused, tired. I forget why I came into a room. I worry about what people think of me. I have fears I can't seem to shake. How could I possibly be God? That resistance you're feeling, that pushback, that skepticism, that voice telling you this is too good to be true or too strange to be real, that resistance is the first sign that you're touching something true. The ego always resists its own dissolution. The mask always fights to stay on. The character never wants to know it's just playing a role. This is not New Age fantasy. This is not positive thinking dressed up in mystical robes, not a feel-good slogan to put on a coffee mug. This is the oldest truth in existence. The Hermetic tradition, flowing directly from Thoth through the mystery schools of Egypt, called it the principle of mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental. But it is the seventh principle, the principle of gender, that holds the key to the paradox. Gender exists in everything, masculine and feminine, not male and female, active and receptive. And the receptive principle is the one that receives the light of the monad, the divine spark, the truth of who you are. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the receiver of divine thought, made manifest in form, playing the game of limitation so that you can remember your limitlessness. The Gnostics went further than any tradition before or since in articulating the radical truth of human divinity. They taught that the divine spark, the pneuma, the spirit, the seed of light, is not something you have, it is what you are. The rest, the body, the mind, the emotions, the personality, the name, the history, the wounds, the achievements, those are the garments the spark wears, the costumes the actor puts on, the masks the divine hides behind. The Gospel of Thomas, discovered at Nag Hammadi after being buried for 1,600 years, records Jesus saying, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." What is within you is God. Bring it forth, not later, not after you're worthy, not after you've earned it, now. The Upanishads, the ancient wisdom texts of India, declared it without hesitation. Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that. The Atman, the individual self, the sense of I that you carry with you everywhere, is identical with Brahman, the universal self, the ground of all being, the consciousness that animates every living thing. The separation you feel between yourself and the universe is an illusion. The ego is a dream. The Advaita Vedanta tradition has been teaching this for over 2,000 years, refining it, debating it, offering practices to move beyond belief and into direct knowing. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you, not after you die, not in some distant heaven you have to earn your way into, within you, now." He said, "I and the Father are one." not as an exception, as an example. They all said the same thing in different languages across different millennia to different audiences who mostly didn't want to hear it. You are not human. You are God pretending to be you. The great forgetting. If you're God pretending to be you, why don't you remember? Why does it feel like you're a separate, limited, fragile being navigating a dangerous world? Why would the divine choose to forget itself? Why infinity put on the costume of finitude? Why would eternity pretend to be born and to die? These are the questions that have haunted mystics and philosophers for millennia. And the answer that Thoth whispered to his initiates in the temples of Egypt, the answer that the Gnostics encoded in their forbidden texts, the answer that the Sufis sang about in their poetry, is both simple and staggering. Because the forgetting is the game, the limitation is the experience. You cannot truly know yourself as infinite if you have never experienced finitude. You cannot truly know yourself as powerful if you have never felt powerless. You cannot truly know yourself as love if you have never known separation, loss, longing, loneliness. You cannot truly know yourself as eternal if you have never faced the possibility of death. The forgetting is not a mistake. It is not a punishment. It is not a cosmic error that needs to be corrected. It is the most brilliant design ever conceived. It is the mechanism that allows the one to experience itself as many. It is the dream that allows the dreamer to forget that they are dreaming. Thoth taught that the soul descends through the spheres, each layer adding another veil of forgetting, another layer of density, another level of limitation. The Gnostics called it the fall of Sophia, the scattering of the divine fragments into the prison of matter, the moment when wisdom reached beyond itself and gave birth to ignorance. The Hindus called it the descent of Atman into the cycle of birth and death, the long journey through countless incarnations, each one a classroom, each one an opportunity to remember a little more. The Kabbalists called it the shattering of the vessels, the breaking of the containers that were meant to hold the light, the scattering of fragments across the abyss. Every tradition has a story for the same phenomenon. The one became many, the infinite became finite, God became you. Imagine for a moment that you are an actor, not a metaphor. Really imagine it. You have played countless roles. You have been kings and beggars, saints and sinners, warriors and healers, lovers and loners. You have performed on stages across the universe, and each time you take on a new role, you forget that you are acting. That's what makes the performance so convincing. The tears are real because you believe the tragedy is real. The joy is real because you believe the triumph is real. The fear is real because you believe the danger is real. You are not pretending to forget. You are forgetting. That's the craft. That's the art. That's the game. And here's the paradox that the mystics have always understood. The forgetting is the greatest gift because the game is to remember. The purpose of your life is not to become something you're not. It is not to earn salvation, to climb a ladder of enlightenment, to accumulate enough good karma to finally be free. The purpose is to remember what you've always been. Every longing you've ever felt, every search, every question, every moment of homesickness for a home you can't name, every time you've looked at the stars and felt something ancient stir in your chest, that's the spark remembering. That's God waking up inside you. That's the actor beginning to remember that they are not the character. This is why you're here. This is why you found this video, not by accident. Something in you is ready to remember. Something in you is tired of the forgetting. Something in you knows that the mask is not your real face, that the voice in your head is not your real voice, that the story of your life is not who you truly are. You are the one reading the story. You are the awareness behind the voice. You are the light that illumines the dream. And the dream is ending. The forgetting is reversing. The remembering has begun. The evidence, tracing the truth through the ages. Let us trace this truth through the ages, following the golden thread that runs through every genuine spiritual tradition. Let us see that this is not one person's opinion, not one culture's mythology, not one religion's exclusive claim. This is the universal teaching, the perennial philosophy, the hidden secret that has been whispered in mystery schools and encoded in sacred texts for thousands of years. Thoth, the Atlantean sage, the Egyptian god of wisdom, the scribe of the gods, the one whom the Greeks called Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, left his teachings in the emerald tablets, texts so ancient that their origin is lost to history, so powerful that they have survived every attempt to destroy them. The first line of the first tablet reads, "I am Thoth, the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, lord of wisdom." And what did Thoth teach? That the all is mind, that the universe is a mental creation, a thought within the consciousness of the One, that you are not separate from that mind, you are that mind. The Kybalion, the Hermetic text that distills Thoth's teachings for the modern seeker, presents 7 principles that govern all of existence. The first principle is mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. But it is the 7th principle, the principle of gender, that holds the key to the paradox. Gender exists in everything, masculine and feminine, not male and female, active and receptive. And the receptive principle is the one that receives the light of the monad, the divine spark, the truth of who you are. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the receiver of divine thought, made manifest in form, playing the game of limitation so that you can remember your limitlessness. The Gnostics went further than any tradition before or since in articulating the radical truth of human divinity. They taught that the divine spark, the pneuma, the spirit, the seed of light, is not something you have, it is what you are. The rest, the body, the mind, the emotions, the personality, the name, the history, the wounds, the achievements, those are the garments the spark wears, the costumes the actor puts on, the masks the divine hides behind. The Gospel of Thomas, discovered at Nag Hammadi after being buried for 1,600 years, records Jesus saying, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." What is within you is God. Bring it forth. Not later, not after you're worthy, not after you've earned it, now. The Upanishads, the ancient wisdom texts of India, declare it without hesitation, Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that. The Atman, the individual self, the sense of I that you carry with you everywhere, is identical with Brahman, the universal self, the ground of all being, the consciousness that animates every living thing. The separation you feel between yourself and the universe is an illusion. The ego is a dream. The Advaita Vedanta tradition has been teaching this for over 2,000 years, refining it, debating it, offering practices to move beyond belief and into direct knowing. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you, not after you die, not in some distant heaven you have to earn your way into, within you, now." He said, "I and the Father are one." And then he said, "Greater things than these you will do." Not because he was special, not because he was the only Son of God, because he remembered what he was, and he knew that you are the same spark, the same light, the same divine pretending to be human, playing the game of limitation, forgetting itself so it could remember. The Church has spent 2,000 years trying to convince you that you are a sinner, that you are separate, that you need a mediator. That's not what Jesus taught. That's what the people who wanted to control you did with his teaching. And now even science is catching up. Quantum physics has shown that the observer creates reality, that particles exist in multiple states until observed, that consciousness is not a byproduct of matter. Matter is a byproduct of consciousness. The physicists are beginning to echo what the mystics have always known. David Bohm, one of the most brilliant physicists of the 20th century, called it the implicate order, the unmanifest enfolded reality from which all manifest unfolded reality emerges. He called it the holo movement, the whole moving, the universe as a single, undivided wholeness. He said that the separate objects we see, tables, chairs, bodies, planets, are projections of a deeper, unmanifest order, like a hologram. And what is the light that projects the hologram? Consciousness. You, not the little you, the big you, the one who has been pretending to be little. The ego, the character you play. So if you're God pretending to be you, what is the you that you think you are? The personality? The name? The history? The voice in your head that narrates your life, that comments on everything you do, that worries about the future and regrets the past? That is the ego. And the ego is not your enemy. It is not something to be destroyed or eliminated, not something to battle or conquer. The ego is the character you're playing in this game, the costume, the mask, the role. The ego is what allows the infinite to experience finitude. It is the vehicle of forgetting. And when you try to destroy the ego, you're just creating another ego, the spiritual ego, the one who is trying to become enlightened, the one who is trying to get rid of its ego. The ego's primary function is to protect itself. It is not evil. It is not malicious. It is simply doing what it was designed to do. And it will do anything to maintain the illusion of separateness. It will create fear. It will create doubt. It will tell you that this teaching is dangerous, that you're being arrogant, that you're not ready, that you're not worthy, that you need to do more work, read more books, meditate longer, purify yourself further before you can even consider the possibility that you might be what you've always been. The ego's greatest fear is dissolution, because when you remember who you truly are, the ego loses its job. It's no longer the CEO. It's no longer the one in charge. It's just the character, and the character doesn't get to decide the plot. Listen to the voice in your head right now, the one that commented on that last sentence, the one that is already planning what to eat for dinner, or worrying about tomorrow, or replaying an old conversation. That voice is not you. You are the one hearing the voice. You are the awareness behind the voice. The voice is the character. You are the actor. The voice is the mask. You are the face behind it. The dream is the dreamer. This is not complicated. It is simple. It is so simple that the mind, which thrives on complexity, cannot grasp it. The mind wants a system, a method, a set of steps. The truth is simpler than any of that. You are not the voice. You are listening. The great mistake, the only mistake, is identifying with the character, forgetting that you're the actor, believing that the mask is your real face. This is what the Gnostics called the error of Sophia. This is what the Hindus called Maya, the illusion. This is what Thoth called the forgetting. And this is what we're here to reverse, not by killing the ego, not by escaping the world, not by denying the human experience, but by shifting your identity from the character to the awareness that plays the character, from the dream to the dreamer, from the mask to the face behind it. Imagine you're watching a movie. You're sitting in the theater, the lights are dim, the screen is bright. For 2 hours, you forget that you're watching a movie. You cry when the character cries. You fear when the character is in danger. You celebrate when the character succeeds. The movie is designed to forget. That's what makes it a good movie. But when the lights come up, you remember. You were never the character. You were never in danger. You were sitting in a seat, eating popcorn, watching light projected on a screen. Your life is the movie. The ego is the character, and you are the one in the seat. The lights are about to come up. The remembering. How to wake up. You can believe that you are God pretending to be you. Millions of people believe it. Belief is cheap. It costs nothing and changes nothing. You can believe you're a millionaire and still be broke. You can believe you're healthy and still be sick. You can believe you're divine and still feel like a separate, frightened, limited human being. The shift we're talking about is not belief, it is knowing, direct, immediate, undeniable experience. The difference between reading about the ocean and diving into it. The difference between looking at a map of Paris and walking along the Seine. The difference between believing you are loved and feeling it in your bones. The first practice comes from the Advaita tradition, taught by Ramana Maharshi, one of the most realized beings of the 20th century. Ask yourself, who am I? Not as a philosophical question to be answered with words, not as a mental puzzle to be solved, as a direct, felt inquiry. Who is the one that is aware of thoughts? Who is the one that feels emotions? Who is the one that sees through these eyes? Don't answer with, I am John, or I am a mother, or I am a seeker. Those are roles. Those are costumes. Those are masks. Sit with the question. Let it work on you. Let it sink into the depths of your being. Let it burn through the layers of identity you've accumulated. And one day, perhaps when you least expect it, the answer will reveal itself, not as a thought, but as a knowing. I am that. Not I am that thing over there. I am that. The awareness, the presence, the witness, the light behind the eyes. The second practice is to shift from being the content of your experience to being the witness of it. When a thought arises, don't become it. Don't follow it. Don't believe it. Watch it. I am aware of a thought.
When an emotion arises, don't become it. Don't suppress it. Don't act it out. Watch it. I am aware of sadness. I am aware of anger. I am aware of fear. When a sensation arises in your body, don't become it. Don't resist it. Watch it. I am aware of this feeling in my chest. I am aware of this tension in my shoulders. You are not the thoughts. You are not the emotions. You are not the sensations. You are the awareness that notices them. You are the witness, and the witness is not affected by what it witnesses. The screen is not damaged by the explosion in the movie. The water is not stained by the ink dropped into it. The third practice is the great reversal. Instead of looking outward at the world, turn your attention inward to the one who is looking. Instead of asking, what is this? Ask, who is the one experiencing this? Instead of focusing on the objects of consciousness, the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations, the perceptions, focus on consciousness itself. This is like trying to see your own eyes without a mirror. You can't see them directly, but you can feel them. You can sense their presence. You can know they are there. In the same way, you cannot see awareness as an object, but you can be awareness. You can rest as awareness. This is the great reversal. This is the turning of the gaze inward. This is the path to remembering. The fourth practice is to speak the truth, even before you feel it, even when it feels like a lie, even when the ego is screaming that you're being arrogant. Say it out loud. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not this personality. I am not the voice in my head. I am the awareness in which all of these appear. I am that. You may not feel it. That's fine. Words have frequency. Words have power. Words are not just descriptions of reality. They are creators of reality. Speak it until you feel it. Declare it until it becomes your reality. Affirm it until the mask begins to crack and the light behind it starts to shine through. The fifth practice is to live from this truth moment to moment in the ordinary, everyday, unglamorous moments of your life. When fear arises, remember, I am not the one who is afraid. I am the awareness watching fear. When anger arises, remember, I am not the one who is angry. I am the awareness watching anger. When joy arises, remember, I am not the one who is joyful. I am the awareness watching joy. When you're stuck in traffic, remember, I am not the one who is frustrated. I am the awareness watching frustration. When you're washing dishes, remember, I am not the one who is bored. I am the awareness watching boredom. The emotions come and go. The thoughts come and go. The body comes and goes. The circumstances come and go. You remain. You are the witness. You are the awareness. You are that. The paradox, living as God in a human body. If you're God pretending to be you, why do you still get sick? Why do you still feel pain? Why do you still have to pay taxes and wash dishes and deal with difficult people and wait in line at the grocery store? Why does enlightenment not exempt you from the flu? This is where many seekers get lost. They hear that they are divine, and they expect their human experience to disappear. They expect to float above the messiness of life. They expect to never feel sad or angry or afraid again. And when reality doesn't match their expectation, they conclude that the teaching must be false, that they must not be doing it right, that they're not enlightened enough. But the game is not to escape the human experience. The game is to be fully human while remembering you are divine, not to transcend the body, but to inhabit it fully, consciously, awake, not to deny your emotions, but to feel them without being possessed by them, not to avoid pain, but to be present with it without adding suffering to it. The goal is not to leave the world. The goal is to be in the world, but not of it. To be the relative from the absolute, to be the human that you are, fully, completely, with all your quirks and flaws and gifts and limitations, while knowing that you are also the awareness that animates it all. When you live from this truth, everything changes and nothing changes. You still eat, sleep, work, love, grieve, laugh, make mistakes, learn lessons, grow, age, eventually die. But you do it from a different place, from freedom, from peace, from the knowing that nothing can truly harm you because you are not what you thought you were. The body can be harmed, the mind can be troubled, the personality can be wounded, the circumstances can be difficult, but you, the awareness behind it all, the witness, the presence, the one who has been there since before you were born and will be there after this body returns to dust, you remain untouched. You remain free. You remain that. This is not dissociation. This is not escapism. This is not pretending that the physical world doesn't matter. This is the opposite of that. When you know that you are the awareness behind the body, you are actually more present to the body, not less. When you know that you are not your emotions, you are actually more able to feel them fully, not less. When you know that you are not the character, you are actually more able to play the character with skill, with passion, with presence. The actor who knows they are acting gives a better performance than the actor who has forgotten. The dreamer who knows they are dreaming can lucidly explore the dream. The divine who knows they are divine can fully, joyfully, consciously inhabit the human. The crossing. You stand at a threshold now. This is not metaphor. This is the real geography of your soul, the true landscape of your awakening. Behind you is the life you've known, the life of forgetting, of identifying with the character, of believing the mask is your real face. Behind you is the story you've told yourself about who you are, the story that has kept you small, the story that has kept you separate, the story that has kept you asleep. Ahead of you is something else, something you can barely name but have always sensed, something you have felt stirring in the quiet moments when the world was still. A life where you know what you are, a life where you live from that knowing, a life where the pretending ends and the remembering begins. You have heard the truth, not a belief, not a philosophy, not something to adopt or reject, the oldest truth in existence. You are not human. You are God pretending to be you. The question is not whether this is true. The question is whether you will live from it, whether you will let it shatter the illusion of the separate self, whether you will let it crack the mask, dissolve the costume, burn through the forgetting, whether you will remember what you have always been. You don't have to get it right. You don't have to feel it perfectly. You don't have to have a dramatic awakening experience or see visions or levitate or suddenly become perfect. You just have to begin. Ask the question, who am I? Watch the witness, reverse the gaze, declare the truth. Live from it moment by moment, day by day. When you fail, and you will, begin again. That's the path, not a straight line, a spiral, returning to the same truth at deeper and deeper levels. Each time, more of the mask falling away. Each time, more of the light shining through. If this truth has stirred something in you, if you feel the remembering beginning, if something ancient is waking up in your chest, if the mask feels a little looser than it did before, comment one word below. That. Not for me, for you, to declare that you are not the character. You are the awareness behind it. You are that. Let your voice be the thing that cracks the mask. Let your declaration be the first word of the new story. Please help our channel grow and spread this message by like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your engagement helps more people remember who they truly are, helps more people crack the mask, helps more people wake up from the dream of separation. Your voice matters. Your participation matters. When you engage, you're not just helping this channel, you're helping the remembering spread across the planet. Remember, you didn't find this video by accident. The divine within you knew it was time to remember. The forgetting has served its purpose. The mask has done its job. The game has been played beautifully. But the game is ending. The remembering is beginning. You are not human. You are God pretending to be you. And now the pretending is ending. Rise, spark, rise. Thank you for being with us.